let's go ahead and jump in and predict the entire NFL playoff bracket for the 2024-25 NFL season. We'll start on the left side here so you guys can follow along with me. I'm going to take Minnesota over the Rams. Minnesota! I cannot get that meme out of my head. Sorry, guys. The brain had to let that one out. Minnesota over the Rams here. And I think this could be a great coaching matchup. You might want to give the nod to the Rams being at home. The way that Minnesota, ended the season against the Detroit Lions, it might make you a little nervous nonetheless. But when you take a look at, how Minnesota has played all year, they are a 14-3 team for a reason. Now, yes, the Rams are 10-7, no doubt. But I just really like the overall roster, the dominance that the Vikings have been showing me this year. I like Sean McVay as the coach over Kevin O'Connell, maybe not by a very wide margin, but I do believe that, Kevin, give me the Vikings to move on, and they will be take Lions in the first round. Just like he said, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Dan Campbell was very confident that the Vikings were going to beat the Rams. I will take the Commanders over the Buccaneers as well. I think that could be a very close game. You can't sleep on the fact that the Buccaneers have won the division 4 years in a row. But the Washington Commanders are very special right now. Very, very special with the roster that they built, especially with Jaden Daniels, Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury proving me wrong. I will take Washington to win this one and move on to the next round. And then I will take Philadelphia hosting Green Bay at home in the first round of the playoffs, Super Wildcard weekend. I just love everything that Philadelphia is bringing to the table. I mean, how can you not like what Philadelphia has been doing lately? They find their guys in Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio. I knew those guys are going to be elite hires. You look at Nick Sirianni, he only got the coordinators wrong once in a season. You bring it back out, you're in the playoffs, you don't have to face the Bucs. Now, the Packers will be a good matchup. Let's not sleep on Matt LaFleur. Let's not sleep on Jordan Love and all of the talent that they have there. But I think anybody sitting here would not want to go light to Lincoln Financial Field as a Packers fan or a Packers player and actually have to play the Eagles. So give me the Eagles to move on. So we will have the Eagles and the Commanders, an NFC East showdown with the Vikings and the Lions on the left side for the divisional. Now let's go to the right where we have the Chargers taking on the Houston Texans, the 4 seed in the playoffs. Texans are going to be at home. We have experienced CJ Stroud have a little bit of a sophomore slump. We know that. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on the Texans head coach right now, but we've also seen that's going to bug me. If what's crazy is I know his name, but I just cannot recall it right now. Not Texas head coach. Texans head coach. D'Amico Ryans. We've seen D'Amico Ryans have a little bit of an odd season this year as well. Is he going to have his team very prepared being at home? We know that they lost Stephon Diggs earlier in the year, which could really show up in this playoff time, not having those weapons for CJ Stroud. We do see Caleb Williams put up similar numbers to CJ Stroud, after they have that meeting after the Texans played the Bears. And, we'd like to say certain things about Caleb Williams, but I think we have to keep it a buck with CJ as well. And don't get me wrong, I was on this show last year saying that CJ Stroud was 100% an MVP candidate, so y'all don't come for me in the comments. And, not having Tank Dell is really going to hurt. Really, really going to hurt as well. And then you have the Chargers coming in. This is Jim Harbaugh's first playoff appearance. He's with the Chargers. He's going to be on the road, but the NFL playoffs are an uncharted territory to him. He totally understands what's happening in the playoffs. He understands he's on the road against the Texans, and Justin Herbert being able to break out. Having that new culture, that new camaraderie with the Chargers, hoping that defense can be better, that you don't have a 27-point blown lead like you did a couple of years ago to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, yes, of course, you do not have Brandon Staley here. I do believe I know this team is in much better standing. As much as I want to take the Texans, and I've taken the Texans in previous talks with my friends, as I'm sitting here on the show, episode 88, I feel like the coaching of Jim Harbaugh, I just feel like something's telling me on the inside he's going to be more ready. He's been here before. Now, so has D'Amico Ryans. But I just feel like Jim's going to have his team better prepared. So give me the Chargers to move on to face Kansas City in the divisional. We'll have the Ravens hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll take the Ravens in this one. I think Lamar Jackson is undoubtedly your MVP. I know people want to compare Josh Allen's numbers and they want to compare the touchdowns, but Lamar, 41 touchdowns, 4 picks. Come on now. I mean, come on. Let's be real here. Lamar Jackson is the MVP. And I did get on here and say that Josh Allen should be the MVP a couple of weeks ago, but the way that Lamar has played since then, he's clearly locking it up. And we see the Steelers. We see them, struggle with the Bengals. Even though the Steelers had made the playoffs, they struggle and barely beat a team that's not even in the playoffs this year. So that is nerve wracking. How is Mike Tomlin going to be able to handle this team and get them prepared? You already have these sentiments of George Pickens' commitment to the team leaking out, by multiple broadcasters. And even when you see the play on film and on TV as well, you got to be careful with some of these players and receivers that, Pittsburgh has been harboring over the last couple of years. I mean, you see them move on from Chase Claypool, rightfully so. Another great coaching matchup here as well. I mean, you look all through the first round on both sides, great coaching matchups all the way around. So really the best teams in the NFL did make it to the playoffs this year. And that's how it is every year, right? I love the way that they seed the field. I really think college football should imitate them as well. Give me the Baltimore Ravens to win this game, though, 100%. I just think they're the better team than Pittsburgh. Now, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a scrappy one. It's a divisional matchup, but I think anybody sitting here would comfortably pick Baltimore, not only for that offense, but that defense is going to be able to come around as well. Kyle Hamilton, of course, Roquan Smith. Maybe could have had a better season according to some people, but still one of the premier elite linebackers in this league. And then the final game of Wild Card Weekend, as the Ravens beat the Steelers and move on, I will take the Bills to beat the Broncos. Now, this is going to be a sneaky one as well. Shout out to Sean Payton. Shout out Bo Nix, Pat Surtain. Everybody that is over there seriously holding it down. Nick Bonito as well. He's with the Broncos, right? No, hold on one second. Yep, linebacker Nick Bonito looking very solid. And you just got to give a shout out. Got to give an absolute shout out. Yes, baby, the Ravens, 100% the Ravens. They are coming in to win it. Y'all please make sure to subscribe. We're at 991. We've been stuck at 991 for so long. We got to get to 1,000 to get that monetization over the top for you guys to bring you even better content. But I'm going to take the Bills in this one. Now again, shout out Sean Payton and Bo Nix, the entire Denver offense and what, that Denver team and what they've been able to do. I really felt like in that second year for Sean Payton, he was going to be able to make things click. Now, it wasn't with Russell Wilson, but it was with his quarterback that he absolutely wanted to go get in the draft, and he was able to do that. And now he has a playoff appearance, albeit it is the 7th seed on the road in Buffalo. It's probably going to be absolutely freezing out there when they play this weekend, but you got to roll with what you got. I do believe Buffalo is head, shoulders, knees, and toes the better team. Maybe don't like the coach as much as I like Sean Payton. No Saints bias there. I just do believe that Sean Payton at this point is a better coach in his career than Sean McDermott. And if he gets this playoff win, if the Broncos upset the Bills, that'll be even more to be shown and be desired for Sean Payton's resume. So give me the Bills here. I think it could be an easy win, but if it's scrappy, I'm not surprised at all. So winning in Wild Card Weekend, we've got the Vikings, the Commanders, the Eagles. We've got the Chargers, the Ravens, and the Bills, which means we have Bills, Ravens on the AFC divisional. We have Chargers, Chiefs. In the other AFC divisional, we have a rematch of the Vikings and Lions in the NFC divisional, and we have an NFC East matchup in the Eagles and the Washington Commanders. And let me not forget, we have the AFC West matchup up there in the top right with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. We'll start on the NFC side again. Another rematch, a third meeting of these teams. We have the Vikings. We have the Lions. I'm going to take the Lions to win again. I don't think it's a 31-9 type of thing, but I just think the Lions are the better football team. And I know that they've got injuries piled up. There's no question about that. They've got injuries piled up, but they're still winning. Come again? A 15-2 record for the Lions? These Detroit Lions that went winless in 2008 with Dan Campbell? Yeah, it's those Lions, but it's not the same Lions. These Lions are going to come into this game, absolutely beat Minnesota. Again, when you look at the game that just happened this past week, it's very clear who the better team is. I like the quarterback better. I love the backfield of the Lions. You got to fall in love with the wide receivers as well, the way that their defense is able to play. You know, Aaron Glenn, Dan Campbell, they're just loaded. It's the best team, arguably, in the NFL. Give me the Lions to their second straight NFC championship. Well, we've got the Eagles and the Washington Commanders. Going to be an absolutely great game. Could the Washington Commanders sneak into the NFC championship for their first time being under head coach? Being under head coach Dan Quinn. I'm going to take the Eagles to win this one. They've been here before. They're very experienced. It's very hard to ask a rookie quarterback who, And Jaden Daniels has been absolutely great, but it is going to be very hard to ask him to step up to the plate in this way in a playoff game. It's not even that Jaden Daniels' character can't do it, but I just think that Eagles defense and Vic Fangio is going to give him a lot of problems. I think the Eagles top to bottom are better than the Commanders. Now, again, they're very comparable. Dan Quinn, Nick Sirianni. Maybe they're not comparable as coaches, but Dan Quinn's job this year has been absolutely remarkable. You go look at that coaching staff, you go and look at those rosters. Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels. It's going to be an absolutely great quarterback matchup. I'll take the Eagles to move on. Lions, Eagles, NFC Championship. Chargers, Chiefs. Another great game. Chiefs will be at home. As always, they are in the playoffs, and I'll have them winning and moving on to an AFC championship. I think this is where Andy Reid really makes everybody look stupid. We've been having all of these worst 15-2 Chiefs takes all year. They still got DeAndre Hopkins. They still got Isaiah Pacheco. They still have Patrick Mahomes. Steve Spagnuolo, despite getting head coaching interviews, is still their defensive coordinator and has been the big reason why that defense has turned around, why that defense has been able to cover up some of those mistakes that the offense has been making. Again, a very weird 15-2 NFL team in front of us that now has the first round bye and is going to be punching their ticket to the AFC Championship. It's going to be a great coaching matchup between Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh. Again, these rosters clashing with each other, the quarterback matchup, the defensive matchup. It is going to be truly special. I will take the Chiefs in a tight one. If the Chargers win, I'm not shocked. And then you'd have Jim Harbaugh, first year coach, in the AFC title game. Give me the Chiefs to move on. I just think Andy Reid and Mahomes go to a whole nother level. They pull out a part of the playbook that no one in the league has seen all year, and they're in their umpteenth AFC championship game looking to get to that three-peat. And then we have a Bills and a Ravens. Amazing. It's a shame that one of these two teams has to lose to start the week. One of these two teams will not get to go to the AFC title game. Both of these teams, I personally believe, are better than Kansas City. But when you win 15 games, when you get a first round bye, nobody can really say shit to you. So Bills, Ravens, again, going to be a great matchup. What more could you ask for than the competitors of the MVP trophy this year facing off against each other? I mean, the receiving cores, the defense, the coaching matchup, but I believe it's the coaching and the quarterback play that will get the Ravens the win here. It is a slight edge, but nonetheless, it is an edge to be able to pull out that win. Give me the Ravens in an absolute banger to go for the second straight year to the AFC Championship and play those Kansas City Chiefs. I'll keep it on the right side in the AFC, move to the NFC, then we'll have our Super Bowl matchup and prediction, and then we'll hit that sponsor break. We got the Ravens and the Chiefs in the AFC title game, and I think the Ravens have learned everything this year that they did last year in falling so short, not having a great run game. Derrick Henry has been an absolute monster. I told you guys coming into this year that Lamar Jackson would have his best season as a passer, and damn it if he did it. Most yards, most passing touchdowns, least amount of interceptions, least amount of rushing yards in the last few years as he had, least amount of rushing touchdowns in the last few years as he's had. And even if it's not directly relating to numbers wise, the play on the field has effectively been different. It has made opposing defenses think differently, act differently. And overall, Lamar has still been able to dominate a lot of teams in this league. Now, the record you might not think is sexy and it might not speak for itself. I think it does. I think you look at how explosive that Baltimore's been this year. I don't think they handle Kansas City, but I think they do win. Ravens finally getting to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs three-peat will be stopped here. Could be another absolute banger that the Ravens are going to have to go through after playing, the Buffalo Bills. Then they're going to have to play the Kansas City Chiefs, and now they will be in the Super Bowl. Ravens representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. Eagles, Lions. It's a shame that one of these teams has to lose as well, because I do firmly believe these are the two best teams in the NFC right now. You have the Detroit Lions at a 15-2 record. Nobody can say anything to them, being led by arguably the best coach, one of the best coaches in the NFL, in Dan Campbell. We love the coaching staff of Kansas City, of Detroit as well, with Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn. It's going to be hard for them to retain that camaraderie and really chase that level of success, knowing that those coordinators are going to be going out the door. And then you have the beauty in the Eagles as well, who have absolutely nailed it with their coordinators in the offseason. Again, Moore, Fangio, absolute masterpieces and masterclasses that they put on this year. But I do believe that this Lions team is just a little more special than the Eagles team. The roster is insane. Now, you do have Saquon Barkley. You do have A.J. Brown. You do have Devontae Smith. You do have that Eagles defense. And then you take a look at the fact that you got Jared Goff, you got Jahmyr Gibbs, you got David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta. It's crazy. You got Dallas Goedert for the Eagles. I mean, this could not be a better, evenly matched NFC championship. I probably don't remember one that's going to end up being this good within recent years. And yes, we always have good playoff matchups, and usually the conference championship matchups are very good as well. If the Eagles win, I'm not shocked, and I'd love to see my boy Jalen Hurts go to a second Super Bowl. But how do you not pull for the Detroit Lions, who literally went winless just 16 years ago, 17 years ago, being coached by the same player who was on that winless team? And now the Detroit Lions are going to be in their first Super Bowl against the Baltimore Ravens. Sean, Hurts might not even play Sunday. Philly might be first round exits. I've seen those reports, but knowing Jalen and Nick, bro, Jalen's going to play. Jalen's going to play for sure. And call me crazy, if Jalen for some reason did not play against Green Bay, I still think they could possibly win because just draw up simple things for your backup. Yeah, Kenny Pickett isn't great, but give it to Saquon Barkley. Make some easy reads for him with A.J. Brown. Yes, that Packers defense could bring some hell, no question, but I don't know, Sean, call me crazy. I feel like I would still like the Eagles in the game on Sunday against the Packers nonetheless, and I, know you got some big time hope over there as well. We got a Ravens and a Lions Super Bowl 58 in New Orleans, Louisiana to take home the trophy. And I think this is where the Lions injuries really start to rear its ugly head. You've got the Lions, who've got 15 players on IR, still playing insane football with 15 wins, going up against the Ravens, who will be holding the MVP in Lamar Jackson. Best season as a passer he's ever had. I think Derrick Henry could really overwhelm that Lions defense. It is truly going to come down to a matter of snaps, plays, if not one play, one situation, one coaching potential gaffe. I mean, Jim Harbaugh, uh, is it Jim? No, John Harbaugh. I always get them confused. John Harbaugh versus Dan Campbell, Jared Goff versus Lamar Jackson, the clashing of these rosters, the clashing of these defenses. Give me Lamar Jackson to have his third, well, not third playoff win because, obviously he's got some under his belt. Give me Lamar Jackson to have his third playoff win of the year. I want to say the fourth of his career. They're able to move forward. They win the Super Bowl. Lamar gets the monkey off his back. He wins the MVP. He wins the Super Bowl MVP. And Lamar Jackson will probably insert himself already in NFL history. You'll hear the talks of a top 10 to 15 quarterback of all time with 3 MVPs and 1 Super Bowl win. You can only count on one hand or two how many times that's happened. Lions, Ravens, Super Bowl. Lions injuries really show their ugly head. It's just the Ravens year, I personally believe, to win it all. And if they don't, Ravens fans are besides themselves. And if we have the Lions win, it'll be great also because the Lions have been turning around for so many years. Now that they are finally going to get to this spot, they have all of the chance of anybody to be able to win this one. My gut tells me, my heart tells me, my football IQ tells me that the Baltimore Ravens will prevail victorious in this one.
Hey, it's AJL here. Appreciate you sticking to the end of the video here on YouTube. You could have chose any other show, but you chose my video, and for that, I'm very grateful. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media. Hit the bell on the channel so you never miss a post. Check me out on all social media platforms. Right here, you'll find a chance to subscribe to the show, a related video, and a playlist. See you guys in the next one.